आपने सोचा था और फिर आप ग्राउंड पे गई तो फिर आपका क्या अंडरस्टैंडिंग लर्निंग क्या अलग था? वाज इट डिफरेंट?
जैसे कि मीडिया पे हम लोग मैं सोशल मीडिया की एक बहुत बड़ी कंज्यूमर रही हूँ। आपने जैसा मेरा जर्नी फॉलो किया होगा, तो मुझे ऐसा लगता था इस इलेक्शन से पहले, जब मैं राजनीति में एंटर नहीं की थी, कि जो जितना कुछ सोशल मीडिया पे दिख रहा है वही सब कुछ मतलब रियल है। हम लोग को वही रियल लगता था। जैसे कि मेरे प्रति विरोध जितना मैंने देखा, मैं बहुत डरी हुई थी कि जब मैं जाऊंगी तो मेरा साथ कौन देगा। लेकिन ऑन ग्राउंड जितने लोग मोदी जी को प्यार करते, नीतीश जी को प्यार करते, ये देख करके लगा कि सोशल मीडिया पे जो चल रहा है वो एक अलग ही दुनिया है। लेकिन ऑन ग्राउंड लोग बहुत ही ज़्यादा मन बना चुके हैं। और फैक्टर्स जैसा आपने पूछा,
जी।
तो हमारे यंग लोगों को बहुत ही ज़्यादा उम्मीदें हैं। जो एनडीए सरकार से आने वाले समय में बहुत ही कुछ अच्छा होगा, और इसको लेकर के सब वोट कर रहे हैं।
पर ऐसा लोग नहीं कहते थे कि नीतीश बाबू थक गए हैं, नीतीश बाबू चला पाएंगे कि सरकार? क्या ये उनकी लास्ट इलेक्शन है, बीजेपी वोट ले लेगी पर उनको मुख्यमंत्री नहीं बनाएगी? ये सब बातें चर्चा होती थी। आपसे कोई पूछता था नीतीश बाबू के बारे में ये सब?
ऑन ग्राउंड मैंने ये ऐसा कुछ नहीं सुना, और ये ओपोनेंट लोग टीवी पे बोलते हैं ये मैंने सुना है। लेकिन जब मैं लोगों के बीच गई तो बहुत ज़्यादा पॉजिटिव था सब कुछ।
हाँ, पर सब आपसे कुछ पूछते थे या सिर्फ आपको गाना गाने को कहते थे? एक बात बताइए।
सब मुझे
सबने आपको कहा होगा,
आशीर्वाद देते थे।
बहुत गाने को कहा
गाना
होगा।
गाए बिना तो कोई छोड़ते ही नहीं थे। सबसे पहले मुझे सुनते थे कि मैं क्या कहने आई हूँ। और सबसे पहली चीज, लोगों के अंदर इस चीज को लेके भी बहुत उत्साह था कि मोदी जी ने मुझे प्रत्याशी के रूप पर अलीनगर में भेजा है। जैसा उन्होंने बोला था कि 1 लाख युवाओं को राजनीति से जोड़ेंगे जिनका कोई पॉलिटिकल बैकग्राउंड ना रहा हो। तो उसमें जब मेरा पहला नाम और एक एग्जाम्पल के तौर पर मुझे अलीनगर भेजा गया, तो लोग उस चीज को लेके भी काफी सराह रहे थे, मुझको और मोदी जी को भी। और ये हम लोग के लिए सौभाग्य की बात है कि अपने क्षेत्र में जाकर के काम करने का मौका मिल रहा है।
अच्छा, एक मैं आपसे जानना चाहता हूँ, एक इंसिडेंट, कोई घटना बता दीजिए जिसकी वजह से आपको लगा हो कि जो मैंने निर्णय लिया वो सही लिया, द डिसीजन आई हैव टेकन इज द राइट वन। सम इंसिडेंट जो
बिल्कुल।
जो ग्राउंड पे हो, जो आपको याद भी रहेगा। जी।
शुरू के 4 दिन आई वॉज ट्रॉमेटाइज्ड फॉर रियल, बिकॉज नो बडी विल जस्ट, मैं कैसे उस फीलिंग को बताऊं। रोज 4 दिन मैं रो रो करके वापस अपने कमरे में जाती थी कि क्या मैं सही जा रही हूँ, क्या मैं सही कर पाऊंगी, क्या मुझे जो इतनी बड़ी अपॉर्चुनिटी मिली है मैं उसको जस्टिफाई कर पाऊंगी अपने पूरे इस जर्नी में। लेकिन 4 दिन के बाद जो मुझे शक्ति मिली ना, जब सारी महिलाएं मुझे शक्ति देती थी, मैं पर्सनली बहुत लोगों से जा करके मिली, सबका आशीर्वाद लिया, और वो जो मोटिवेशन मिला ना कि मुझे अपने ऊपर इतना भरोसा हो चुका है कि चाहे कोई मुझे कितना भी विरोध करे, ट्रोल करे, लेकिन मैं अपने आप को अगले 5 साल में अच्छे से प्रूव करके दिखाऊंगी।
आपके गले में अभी भी खराश है, तो आज आपसे मैं आग्रह नहीं करूंगा। जिस दिन आप जीतेंगी, जिस दिन निर्णय आएगा, उस दिन आपसे फिर बात करेंगे, तब आपसे
जरूर।
खूब गवाएंगे, तब आपको फिर गाना होगा,
बिल्कुल।
तब तक गला आपका ठीक हो जाए, यही
जरूर
प्रार्थना
जरूर।
है।
थैंक यू,
ऑलवेज अ
थैंक यू।
प्लेजर स्पीकिंग विथ यू मैथिली। थैंक यू सो मच।
थैंक यू, सेम
थैंक यू।
हियर।
नमस्ते।
नमस्ते।
So I think we have the overall state number now.
Let's go to that.
We can
Let's
go
go
to
to that.
the big.
Interesting insight that she gave, that I realized as Gen Z that the social media world and what's happening on ground, the real world is very different. And that's a very candid admission that came from a first timer. Let's now look at the numbers. We got the full set of numbers from Bihar. Let's try and see what the updated numbers are, and we'll put out our numbers also, the News 18 mega exit poll numbers, after we take a look at the poll of polls, viewers. Let's see what the number is. There an upward, downward revision somewhere? Matriz has made an upward revision. Matriz has pushed those numbers up to 167. So it's looking stronger for the NDA. Look at JVC, says 150. Let's look at the higher numbers, and there are more numbers which are getting closer to the 160 mark at the upper end for the NDA. What's happening with the INDIA? Is there a downward revision? No. Chanakya strategy keeps it at 108, but JVC poll takes it to 103 and 102. So there are 4 pollsters who are actually giving the MGB the possibility of breaching the 100 mark, but yet falling nearly about 15 to 20, 20 to 22 short of the majority number. The other part, look at Jansuraj. He's drawn a blank. 3 years of effort there, trying to be the voice of the opposition or voice of the people against the ruling or the incumbent and displace the opposition. Has Prashant Kishore given it all down the drain by deciding not to contest, or what's happened there? One has to see. The others Well, there are some of them, some of the pollsters who are giving double-digit projections or near about double-digit projections to the others. Will that really manifest? Will the likes of VIP, will the likes of some of the other smaller parties within on both sides, NDA and all, turn out the strike rate or perhaps pull in the votes that they're supposed to? We have to wait and watch. But overall, if you were to see 1, 2, 3 pollsters, 4, if you were to take People's Pulse also, 4 pollsters are giving the NDA more than 160 or about 160 at the higher end. That means the target set by the NDA and Amit Shah at 160 is possible. There is no outlier so far. There is no outlier in all of these numbers so far, and one would wonder why. Usually, exit pollsters, there is somebody who's an outlier. This time, there is no outlier. They're all within a similar band, plus or minus 10 seats, but that's where they are. Everybody is giving them more than 130 seats, the NDA, but less than 170. And it's in that range for the NDA, and it's NDA all the way. There's nobody who's saying that the MGB has a chance. Now let's look at the breakup. This is the mega exit poll. Overall numbers for CNN News 18 and the News 18 network. 140 to 150 seats for the NDA, 85 to 95 seats for the INDIA. Jan Suraj could get up to 5 seats and the others are 5 to 10 seats. So who are these others? We'll look at the breakup. Let's take it across to our panel. Rahul Shivshankar, were you expecting 140 to 150 or will this be more? Or is it that this is a trend? And if this trend stays, then that 160 number could be breached.
Yes. So decisive, I think it's going to go to 170.
Yeah, it's going to swing the other way, right?
Either you have anti-incumbency or you don't have anti-incumbency. So it has to be either a sweep. And that's what Amit Shah has been saying, the Union Home Minister. In fact, in an interview to Rahul Joshi, Editor-in-Chief, he came out and said very clearly that I'm not expecting anything less than a 2/3. And if the voter is so decided and so decisive at a time when so many of them have come out, I don't see, and if there's a 4% or a 3.5% gap between the two and the LJP is kicking in and so on and so forth, then I don't think this is
but the last time there was a 170 plus returns in the elections was in 2015 when the RJD and the JDU came together, and that tie-up was formidable because the caste bases came together and
MGB had 114 last time. This time they are minus about 10-15 seats.
See, the 140 number seems very credible to me because on the ground, from my colleagues also who had travelled and who were travelling in interior, JDU had a lot of goodwill, Nitish Kumar had a lot of goodwill, but there was a feeling for BJP that they had no good state level leaders, there was no affection for their current lot of leaders, and there was also always a lot of doubt whether they would try and take on the Chief Minister's chair if voted. So it could happen that JDU's strike rate could be better, and that could be reflected.
Could it emerge as the single largest party?
Number two, I also want to say that in terms of whatever I have spoken to people after the first phase of polling, there is an apprehension about Jan Suraj, about them cutting into votes, especially in urban areas among young people and young upper caste
we'll see about that.
people.
But
so,
that
is one thing that needs to
fundamental issue is, and Rahul Verma, please weigh in on this. Last time the NDA was 125. It was 3 above 122, which is the halfway mark. If all of these polls are right, you're basically looking at the NDA having expanded its voter base. If you have to go from 125 to at the very minimum 140 or at the outer end 170, which means you've added new voters. Who are these new voters?
The LJP
maybe
guys
not, 38, 39 plus 5 or 6% of LJP is already
So
45.
the LJP is the only differentiating factor.
Well, it's a big factor, right? Like
Okay.
it alone gives you a 45% sort of like range.
Then Upendra Kushwaha's outfit was not with these people.
Last time,
Not just that, there are voters who have not voted the last time have come on because the voter percentage has gone up. No, there is a significant jump. So there were voters who may have refrained from voting the last time around because they were disenfranchised at that time.
Bihar is the youngest state in India. There is a youth bulge in Bihar. And may mean that younger, we'll have to see the data. We haven't seen the data yet.
It may also mean
the new first-time voters are.
It may also mean that
over the
Zaka, it may also mean that 60 lakh people who had voted in Lok Sabha are not voting in this election.
No, but the 60 lakh people.
So half of them are dead. More than half of them are dead.
60 lakh people are dead. No, 60 lakh people did not vote. They were part of the voter rolls, not necessarily that they voted Rashid
I mean,
Tibai.
potentially anybody who's in a voter
I
list.
request you to frame your sentence very carefully. They didn't vote there, sir. They were part of the voter rolls.
How do you know? If you are in
They
a
were
voter
part of the
list, whether
voter
you
rolls and
voted
they've
or
been
you're not
removed.
voted,
They're
that's
part of the voter rolls.
I'm just pointing a
Sir,
glaring
the largest
omission.
number of voters
What I'm saying is
remove
absolute
deceased
number of
voters.
Absolute number of voters may have come down overall, but the absolute number of voters has also gone up because the rise in percentage is disproportionate to that. But you're saying something.
The absolute number of voters, according to the EC figures, the only thing that they haven't revealed is how many of them were so-called Ghuspetiyas. But the fact is, a large number of them were deceased voters or voters that had left the state. That was around 85% of the voters that have been excommunicated from the voter rolls. So I'm only stating a fact.
No, in double engine ki sarkar, how can there be so many Ghuspetiyas?
No, but they've not revealed the Ghuspetiya
Now
number.
we are digressing.
They've
80% of them were.
But what does that tell you?
They were.
Why have they not revealed the
were
number of illegals?
Look, why are you putting
They
me in
were part
a
of the
situation where, let's
They were
let's
part
talk
of the
about the
rolls,
most
but they
definitive
didn't
issues
vote.
of this election.
But the larger question, Sandeep ji, if you were to look at it, does the NDA show that they can manage alliances better? The BJP show that. Does the BJP realize what are the factors and they're ready to course correct faster than the MJP does?
I think it's clear if these numbers hold that the NDA's alliance chemistry has been much more effective. It's important to highlight the fact that if these numbers hold, the two principal parties within the NDA, the BJP and the JDU, have done well. And on the other hand, in the Mahagathbandhan, it may well be that the RJD continues to do as well as it did last time, but its partners within the alliance, especially the Congress, has been the weak link, and that has contributed to the Gathbandhan being where it is in the exit polls that are seen. So if what the exit polls show us actually shows up on Friday also, then it indicates that the alliance chemistry for the NDA has been very, very effective, and the alliance coming together in the Mahagathbandhan had its serious challenges.
Well, we're waiting for the vote share projections. The vote share projections would also make the difference because the last time around it was less than 2%.
The vote share is very important. If you have a 4.5% gap, and I've seen a couple of other polls now on social media, and they seem to be projecting a 4.5% gap. And if you look at the new voters that have come in, that's a very significant jump. And that shows that if you're winning every constituency on an average by 4.5–5%, I don't see why you wouldn't be crossing into a territory that's suggestive of a sweep rather than just a plain and simple majority. It'll be like, the elections that we have seen in some of the other states.
No, but then what does that mean in terms of management? Look at this, when the BJP is its weakest in 2024, between June 2024 to November 2025, some of the most landmark decisions have been made when perhaps the BJP at the center has looked the weakest. At a time when perhaps they wanted the likes of Chandrababu Naidu and Nitish Kumar to back them, and if they pull back support, the BJP and this NDA will not stand. But look at how they manage both CBN and also Nitish Babu in this. If they have helped Nitish Babu become the strongest ever in the recent times.
I mean, we have the individual party breakups.
We have the individual party
individual
breakups.
Party
We'll try and put that up also in terms of the individual party breakups. Just checking if we have those numbers up.
So,
okay, in 30 seconds,
So, in the NDA, the BJP is projected to get between 55 and 65. The JDU is projected to get between 60 and 70. So, it's likely, I mean, certainly according to the News 18 poll, the JDU will be the single largest party. It'll have more seats than the BJP.
The JDU numbers are?
The JDU is between 60 to 70 and the BJP is between 55 to 65. So that's a significant bump up for the JDU. The harm is between 0 to 5. The LJP is between 10 to 15. So he's again at a strike rate of almost 50%. If he gets 15 at the higher end out of the 29 that he contested, that's almost a strike rate of 50%. On the other side, in the India alliance, the RJD is projected to get between 50 to 60, which is down about 15, even at the higher end of 60, that's down about 15 compared to the 75 that they had last time.
But Zach, on the numbers that you're doing for the NDA, if you look at the mean of both the BJP and the JDU, they by themselves are enough to get
past the halfway mark.
Yes, just by a whisker. But they don't even need the others.
But interestingly, the Congress, and everybody has sort of been talking about the Congress and how badly it's doing. If you actually look at it, they got 19 last time. Our News 18 exit poll is suggesting they'll get between 15 to 20. So even if they fall, it's pretty much in the territory of what they got last time around. The CPI, ML, CPI, all the left parties put together between 10 to 15. The VIP party is projected to get 4, which is
what they got last time.
which is what they got last time as well.
But so this Zaka is
sorry, 0 to 5. Sorry, so it could
Zaka,
be more or less.
The Network 18 exit poll, if the numbers hold, is an exact replication of pretty much it says that nothing has changed since June 2024. Because you're looking at 50 to 60 seats for 60 to 70 seats for the JDU. The JDU won about 72 assembly segments last year.
So the JDU did better than the BJP last time around as well, in the Lok Sabha.
Exactly. The BJP won 68 in the Lok Sabha. This time our projection is 55 to 65, so pretty much the same number. The RJD seems to have done better because the RJD is 50 to 60 in our projection.
Yeah.
It won 36 segments in 2004. The Congress is 15 to 20 and it won about 12 segments in 2004. So pretty much, and the new factor is LJB, of course.
Yeah. No, so also Nistula was asking about the JSP. So the News 18 exit poll projects that the JSP, Jan Suraj, will get between 5 to 10 seats. You think that would justify
Let's just check if
debut? I mean,
So I think
okay, we've got the party-wise numbers. We'll try and look at the party-wise numbers. I'm going to get up and see if we can get the party-wise numbers as far as the there you go. NDA takes the lead, but the numbers as we put out. Phase 2 exit polls, NDA not just 140 to 150 seats, but we want the party-wise breakup and talk about that because within the NDA, the JDU emerges as the single largest party. But overall, as far as the News 18 mega exit polls, who's the single largest party? Is it the RJD or the
JDU?
The JDU. So the JDU becomes the single largest party. And that means Nitish Babu and the JDU are firmly established. There were many who were saying, is the JDU going to dissipate? Is it going to break away into multiple factions? Who after Nitish? The survival, etc.
I have to say this. I've just been corrected by our pollster. JSP is 0 to 5, not 5 to 10. 5 to 10 would have been a big
Jan Suraj
splash.
party 5 to 10 would have been a big
it's 0
splash.
to 5.
It's 0 to 5. So Jan Suraj party is 0 to 5. Yes, Rahul.
So I want to make one point on why, even if the Rahul Shiv Shankar, if there is a 4% lead, it may not turn into a sweep because like that 4% sweep does not, 4% lead does not mean it will hold in every constituency. Seat conversion always depends on the distribution of votes. So it is possible that an MGB is able to convert seats in some concentrated pockets. And that might be Seemanchal. So constituencies that have sizable, say, Muslim and Yadav population, which might be touching somewhere in 40% or 50%, they are much more likely to
That's what Rajiv Rudy was also saying. There are 70 seats where MY
my point was...
Now we have this breakup at the bottom of the screen.
Rahul Verma, my point was that a party like the RJD, which is a cadre-based party with very definitive vote banks, if they are not being able to breach a particular vote share despite their very strong concentrated support, then there's a problem. And that's why I feel that there might be actually a runaway for the...
No, but see, I think, like, again, on this number, why this is a possibility. The second thing which is happening is that BJP is losing seats, right? BJP had last time 74 seats and this time the projection is from 55 to 65, which means someone is picking up BJP's vote and bringing their strike rate down. And so here, JSP might not be actually winning seat, but actually chipping up the votes.
So rather than hurting the RJD, it is actually hurting
It may be hurting both.
It may be hurting both. It may be hurting both. Look at the Congress party, 15 to 20 seats. Now, so 19 seats, they were confident of retaining those 19 seats. That doesn't seem like happening. They hurt the RJD also in this case overall. The BJP are happy to play second fiddle in Bihar because they've literally, virtually, the JDU is resurrected. So far they said, who after Nitish Kumar, what's going to happen after Nitish Kumar. Now JDU emerges as the strongest party in Bihar, almost close to, much ahead and much better. Does that not mean something, Rashid Kidwai, as to who's managing their allies and alliances better?
See, Anand, it's a alliance that Congress and RJD had gone in. There were a lot of sort of corrections were made in the intra-alliance ticket distribution, etc. Many of the contests have been between BJP, JDU and Congress. It's not that Congress is versus HAM or versus LGP. So these are the sort of contradictions are there in this. So it's not the weak versus weak. It is the strongest versus weakest kind of contest.
Meanwhile, the voting percentage, the voting turnout is at 68.52%.
Yeah.
This is at 7 p.m.
So last time, first phase was 65, this phase is 68, so
Rahul,
roughly about 66,
Rahul, you may recall
67.
in Madhya Pradesh also what happened, the BJP went on to win with a bigger margin over the incumbent government, and they won with a, so to say, landslide shift with the incumbent government, and if there is very little, that's what I'm saying, opposition can do. If people have more and more faith in a chief minister, then obviously that person is going to win.
No, but
Rashid,
that doesn't mean you just give up.
I would like to
giving up.
remind, I would like to tell Rashid about his own article that he wrote recently on reflecting on Zohran Mamdani and what the Congress party could learn or the opposition could learn, which is to build a political program around what people are worried about rather than lecturing them on what they should be worried about. And maybe that is an important factor in building up a opposition fight back.
In Kerala, in Assam, etc. In Bihar, basically, it was Tejashwi's election. The entire politics revolved around Tejashwi. If Tejashwi has succeeded, the Congress
if it was Tejashwi's election, then shouldn't Rahul Gandhi have done what Tejashwi wanted him to do rather than him going and pushing this entire vote chori bogi?
No,
He didn't want they were not even campaigning
Minister.
together. Towards the end, they were cancelling each other's rallies because people didn't want to see Rahul Gandhi there at all. So the Congress was not adding value; it was actually
I saw one survey where the difference between
Who is Congress's new
difference
face?
between
Priyanka Gandhi
Rahul
was
Gandhi and Narendra Modi was less than 10%.
Sir, you can see whatever poll. Look at it on ground. Did the RJD want Rahul Gandhi in their rallies? Ask
Whole
your own.
evening we are looking at polls. So
I'm
don't
not
deny polls.
Sir, simple. Bihar made. Did they
No,
want
when
to see
it comes
Rahul
to-
Gandhi or did
when
they
it
want to
comes
see?
to,
Did they want
that
to see
gap
Tejaswi?
between Rahul Gandhi
Did
and Narendra
Tejaswi
Modi
agree with
is
vote chori?
bridging in Bihar.
Did
You
Tejaswi
say, oh,
agree with
these are
vote chori?
surveys.
Did Tejaswi agree with the vote chori plank, or did he say let's focus on jobs, let's focus on BARD, let's focus on these issues? Did Rahul Gandhi talk about that?
I am saying there is
You're
no
not asking serious
vote
questions,
chori. Free and fair elections is something very different from what we see electoral contest and the outcome of it.
Sir,
Please don't try to correlate.
दानी वाला लॉजिक आप लगाइए, आप बताइए राहुल गांधी ने इशू चुना या बोला कि इस पे वरी करो.
We can talk till the cows come home about what Rahul Gandhi could have done and so on. But it seems to me that the structural problems of the Congress remain the same. In 2024 there was an opportunity for the Congress. It seems to have not learned those lessons. So you keep every election now seems to be like a facsimile of the previous one, where the Rahul Gandhi gets the headlines, has this, and now is a new discourse of elections being lost. But on the ground, the problem is not having the electoral machinery. And
But that
there's
was
no
not the
investment, it
case in
seems, on building that.
2018.
It seems to be
No,
Achilles'
no,
heel, right? So is it a failure of imagination or is it a failure of execution?
But enough of the Congress.
Since 1989.
But there is also a message, Sandeep Shastri ji, you figure there's a message for the BJP also. If the BJP is doing a 55 or a 60% strike rate, that's very poor strike rate or performance for the BJP electoral machinery. They do not agree to anything less than 70% or 75%. This is very bad strike rate. So is there a message there that the BJP local leadership is not working?
Now, I think if these numbers, at least the details within each alliance holds, I think not projecting Nitish Kumar as the Chief Minister candidate could have made a difference. The fact that the BJP was not able to project any of its state level leaders and their whole campaign was around the persona of the Prime Minister. Now that factor, that in the Bihar elections you were not able to project a state level leader. In the Bihar elections, the NDA was not able to project a chief ministerial face. Now that factor, I think, if these numbers hold, would indicate that the JDU was able to do better because they were rallying behind their leader, whereas the BJP was focusing on the party campaign without a state level leadership phase. And that, if these numbers hold, I think that could have contributed to the challenging strike rate which the exit poll seems to show. But then, this
if Nitish is not the Chief Minister faces, why would the JDU do well? if Nitish was not on a solid position and Nitish had not been projected, why did the JDU do it? But there is a point you make where you say that the BJP local
Nitish
leadership
was not projected
is
by
hollow
the
there.
NDA, but projected by the JDU. JDU was projecting Nitish. The NDA was not projecting Nitish. This, I think, is a difference we need to keep in mind.
Right. Just quickly taking the individual parties and look at this. The more left the Congress goes, the higher the left goes. The left is rising at the cost of the Congress party's left position. That's what's happening. Look at, this is what the numbers say, sir. Look at the number of seats the left have contested, the number of seats the Congress is contesting, and what the News 18 mega exit poll numbers show, that the left could actually win more seats than the Congress itself. Rashid Kidwai, and to our viewers, look at the JDU. The JDU strike rate significantly better than the BJP. 55 to 65 for the BJP. It may emerge as the second largest party if these numbers hold, if these projections hold. RJD, the third party, the largest, single largest party, could be Nitish Kumar and the JDU. LJP 10 to 15 seats, not a bad strike rate for the 29 seats they are contesting in. They seem to be doing better than the Congress. And they seem to... Bihar Deputy Chief Minister Vijay Sinha ji is with us. Vijay Sinha ji, namaste. Thank you very, very much. मैं आनंद बोल रहा हूँ, मेरे साथ जाका और राहुल शिवशंकर हैं. मैं पहला प्रश्न आपसे पूछना चाहूँगा, एग्जिट के रुझान पर आप क्या कहेंगे?
देखिए, बिहार की जनता का जो भावना का प्रकटीकरण है, डबल इंजन की सरकार, देश के प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी और बिहार के मुख्यमंत्री नीतीश कुमार जी के अनुभव और इनके द्वारा विकास के किए गए कार्यों पर उनका बटन दबा है. उत्साहित हो करके बटन दबाए हैं. 2010 में भी आप देखेंगे इसी तरह की जनता के बीच उत्साह था. हम तो लोगों के बीच भी गए हैं और आज 2020 में 57% और आज 67% से ऊपर, ये 10% का डिफरेंस SIR के बावजूद, घुसपैठिए को हटाने के बावजूद, मृतक को हटाने के बाद, ये उत्साह बिहार के विकास, बिहार के सामाजिक सौहार्द और बिहारी के सम्मान का ये परिणाम है.
देखिए नीतीश बाबू और
परिणाम है और बेहतर होगा.
जी, नीतीश बाबू और जेडीयू का स्ट्राइक रेट सबसे बढ़िया लग रहा है. अभी तक के न्यूज 18 एग्जिट पोल के रुझान में वो सिंगल लार्जेस्ट पार्टी होंगे, लेकिन भाजपा का परफॉर्मेंस थोड़ा डाउन दिख रहा है.
ये आपको मैं बता दें कि दोनों मिल करके गठबंधन चुनाव लड़ी है, बेहतर रिजल्ट आएगा और दोनों भाई के तरह हैं. परिणाम 19-20 हो सकता है, लेकिन परिणाम एनडीए का बहुत बेहतर रहेगा.
कहीं ना कहीं बीजेपी के लिए क्या ये मैसेज है कि लोकल लीडरशिप और लोकल परफॉर्मेंस जेडीयू का ठीक है, भरोसा ज्यादा है, बीजेपी का कम है? 55-60% का स्ट्राइक रेट आपका बीजेपी को शोभा नहीं देता, इलेक्टोरली मैं कह रहा हूं. जी
देखिए, ये एग्जिट पोल है. एग्जैक्ट परिणाम जब आएगा तो ज्यादा बेहतर उस पर चर्चा करना उचित लगेगा.
जी, 150 सीटों का रुझान दिख रहा है अभी एनडीए के लिए. आपको लगता है 160 का नंबर पार होगा?
नहीं, मैं तो, मेरा अनुमान जो अपना है, हमने सारे विधायकों से, उम्मीदवारों से भी बात किए थे.
हाँ.
और मैं बता दूं कि 175 से 200 अगर जो उत्साह बढ़ा है,
हाँ.
ये परिणाम वहां तक भी जा सकता है. क्योंकि मैं 90 के दशक से लड़ रहा हूं
जी,
और 2010 को भी हमने बहुत नजदीक से देखा था
जी,
और वही उत्साह पब्लिक के बीच में इस बार हमने देखा है. मेरा वोटर साइलेंट है. महागठबंधन के वोटर रोड पर हंगामा और हल्ला करने वाले लोग हैं. इसलिए परिणाम और बेहतर जाएगा.
बेहतर. तो आप कह रहे हैं रुझान 175 तक जा सकता है. बहुत ही ज्यादा स्विंग हो गया तो बहुत रिकॉर्ड तोड़ नंबर भी आ सकते हैं. विजय सिन्हा जी, न्यूज 18 की टीम की तरफ से आपको और सभी को बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं. और चुनाव जिस दिन आएगा, परिणाम जिस दिन आएगा 14 तारीख को, आपसे फिर भेंट करेंगे.
धन्यवाद.
नमस्ते. On that note, we're going to take a very, very short break. Stay with us. So let's quickly get a sense of the first set of numbers.
And you can see from the trees to JVC, People's Insight, People's Pulse. So on the lower end, we're looking at 130. I don't see anything that's lower than 130. for the NDA alliance. And at the higher end, we're looking at 165, 167. So essentially, you're looking at a range of between 130 to 167 for the NDA. For the India alliance, at the lower end, I'm looking at 70, which is the first poll, the Matrice poll, and at the higher end, 108. That's a fairly big, almost 40-seat variance there. But essentially, directionally, all the exit pollsters seem to be predicting the direction of the poll result, which is that it'll be a reasonably comfortable win for the NDA. The Mahagathbandhan will be losing the second election on the trot in 2020 and now again in 2025. Rahul Shivshankar, Nistula Hebar, Rashid Kidwai, Rahul Verma and Nalin Mehta here in our studios.
Well, Zach, one will have to look at the poll percentages also, what the vote shares of all these various polls are. But the one that I've looked at, PMark, seemed to suggest there was a 3.5% to 4% difference between the NDA and the MGB. And if that is the case, that means there is significant consolidation in favor of the incumbent alliance, and that will be curtains really for the MGB, and they'll have to go into introspection.
Why do you think this is the case? I mean, this is turning out to be a far, I don't want to use the word easier, but seemingly an easier election.
A huger number of voters, if the vote share sort of increases for one by 4 or 5%, then there's a no contest really.
No, in this situation, this is a different election from 2020, which was under the shadow of COVID.
Correct.
So you could also see that people may not have wanted to come out to vote, several didn't. Then secondly, Chirag Paswan really dented the NDA, at least the JDU in 32 seats, where their margin, the margin polled by LJP candidates was more than the margin of defeat of the JDU candidate there. That is no longer a factor here, and you had Mukesh Sahni on this side finally deciding to go here. The NDA was